all. In the connection of the webinar series, today we have the webinar on a journey of the Jaipur food. So we have the stalwarts and our chief guest of this webinar, Sri Dr. Mehta Sahab, and she is the renowned personality not only in India and also world. Sri Dr. Mehta is the Padam Bhushan. Sri Dr. Mehta sir joined the Indian Administrative Services (IAS) in 1961 and retired in the 2002 as a chairman SEBI, regulator of the Indian capital market, the third largest in the world and the counterpart of the SEC in USA. Sri Mehta was also the Deputy Governor of Reserve Bank of India, RBI, the Central Bank of India, and the counterpart of the Federal Reserve of the USA. He held the various positions in the government of Rajasthan and the government of India in his 41 years of the tenure. In Rajasthan, he served as the secretary of the government in the various departments at the different times. He was the secretary industry, secretary mines, secretary to the chief minister, the Antyodaya commissioner, and the secretary etc. in Rajasthan. In Rajasthan earlier, he served as the collector of the three districts, namely Badmer, Sikar, and the Jaisalmer. In Government of India, he served as in the Ministry of the Finance as the Joint Secretary Banking, Control of the Capital Issues from 1979 to 85, and the Additional Secretary Banking 1989 to 91. In the Ministry of the Commerce as the Chief Controller of the Import and the Export of the Director General of the Foreign Trade 91 to 92. Sri Mehta had been closely associated with the economic reforms process in India. He was involved in the banking reforms during his time. The fundamentally changes the export-import policy was issued in 1991. The capital market reforms which made Indian capital market one of the most efficient ones in the world, were introduced during the tenure. On the social side, the Sri Mehta set up the NGO called the Bhagwan Mahavir Viklang Sahayata Samiti, BMBSS Jaipur in 1975, the parent body of the Jaipur Food, which is also the world's largest organization for the rehabilitation of the disabled, having the rehabilitation over the 1.62 million amplitude polio patients, etc. The presently, Mr. Sri Mehta is the founder of the chief patron of the BMBSS. Sri Mehta set up the literally cultural organization called the Prakriti Bharati Academy, which has the library and has also the published in 385 title by now. Sri Mehta was born in the 1937. He is an alumni of the Rajasthan University, Jaipur, the Royal Institute of the Public Administration, London, and the Alfred Sloan, the School of the Management, MIT, Boston, USA. Sri Mehta was a director of the board of the Alfred Sloan School of the Management of the MIT for the Europe, Asia, and Africa for the 3 years. And Sri Mehta sir is also received the many awards, and he received the Padam Bhushan by the President of India in 2008, and Rajiv Gandhi National Sadbhavna Award 2012 by the Prime Minister of India. He was awarded PhD Honor Causa by the Amity University, Rajasthan. He was awarded the Delhi Honor Causa by the Kota Open University, Kota, and the Bharat Asmita Rashtriya Puraskar 2014, and the Tech Museum Innovation Award in the Silicon Valley, USA for the innovation and its use for the humanity in 2007. The Indian for the Collectively Action Award in the San Francisco 2007, and the Diwali Bihan Award by the Dalai Lama. CNBC Award for the Social Entrepreneur on behalf of the BMBSS, and the Satpal Mittal Award, and has also received the many more awards. We also have the Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir, Professor Amin Patel sir with us. And Professor Amin Patel sir is the passion driven, the educationist, and the visionary who has made the significant mark in the scope of the higher education within the state of the Gujarat and the nation of the India, and currently stands as the provost of the Parul University, a bachelor in civil engineering degree holder from the SP University, and the masters of the civil structure specialist from the Gujarat University with a PhD from the DD University, Nanded. His unique academic career in the characterized by the adherence toward the continuous education. Throughout his career tenure, he has made the significant contributions towards the growth, expansion, and the development of the higher education qualification. He has the work as the Vice Chancellor of the Gujarat University for a period of the 3 years as a Principal at the College of the Engineering Ahmedabad and Gujarat for the 10 years as the Member of Secretary Admission Committee for the Professional Courses Gujarat and the Vice Chancellor officiating Gujarat Technical University Ahmedabad Gujarat and Professor and the Principal at the Government Engineering College Modosa. And in addition to his the prominent distinguished, he has also the invested. He is the extra offers through membership in the various committees as the member of the Association of the Indian Universities and the governing council member of the governing body in India in Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad, and the member in the inquiry committee by the UGC, member of the academic governing body of the Autonomous College, the Institute of St. Jaipur Science College, and the BVM and the VV Nagar, and the member of the Staff Affairs Committee of the AIU. So we welcome to you, sir, Padam Bhushan Sri D.R. Mehta sir, on behalf of the Parel University, on behalf of the Parel University Management, on behalf of the Parel University family, we welcome to you, sir. And now I request you and over to you on our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir. Please say a few words in today's webinar. So now I request you and also welcome to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, on this PU webinar platform. So now I request you, our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, please say a few words. So after your words, we can start this webinar and we can request our Honorable Chief Guest for the start this talk on the today's webinar topic. So now I over to you, sir. Please, sir.
Thank you very much. I really feel very proud as the Mehta Sahab, one of the stalwarts who has consented us to be the part of this webinar. Sir, when I just start talking with you, you said that thank you for giving me invitation, but I have to, on behalf of universities, say thank you to you. So people like you have spared time and to be the part of our webinar series. A little bit I will show about Parul University. As far as Parul University is concerned, no doubt it is a private university and coming up very fast growing. But I can say that in a digital era, we can claim that we are the strongest across the India because the thing which we have adopted and a part of our webinar series, every week we have about 10 webinars from various faculty, and especially the Faculty of Arts, our Dean Mr. Rawat, he has a very good, I think I appreciate his effort that he is inviting the people like you, those who are real stalwarts, and our students are so beneficiary for that. No doubt this is a live streaming and it is put up open so that so many are the beneficiary. If our such program is physically to be conducted, then obviously there is a limitation of that auditorium, maybe 400, 500. But here the thousands of people or thousands of beneficiary are there to take the advantage. And our management is also interested to invite the people so that they become inspirational or motivational for them. And like that way in this series, yes, Mehta Sahab has consented. Yeah, and I seen your biodata is so strong. I am very happy and appreciate, sir, that you have consented to be the part of our webinar for Faculty of Arts. I think you are so stalwart, so I will not speak today. But in future, if any time, then definitely I prefer to see you in physically because whatever your contribution as so far the Reserve Bank is concerned or the SEBI is concerned, I think it is maybe a tremendous. So I will go more in detail and today I will hear you that so that I can also learn from you. So again, welcome Professor
Thank you.
Rawat for arranging this type of very good
Yes.
discussion with best wishes. Over to you, Professor Rawat.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much, sir, to give me this opportunity to organize this such kind of the wonderful webinar in the concern of the Vadodara Hackathon version 2, and also thank you to Professor Harshil Shah, sir. So initially took and asked to me and for arrange the such kind of the webinar. So thank you also Professor Harshil Shah, sir. And now I over to you, our honorable chief guest of the today's webinar, Padam Bhushan Sri D.R. Mehta Sahab, to deliver this speech on the journey of the Jaipur food and enlighten to us, enlighten to our participants, enlighten to students, enlighten to the other professionals. So I request you, sir, please enlighten to us on today's topic. We will be grateful to you, sir, and we'll grateful to you, sir. Please, sir. Now I over to you, sir, Honorable Padam Bhushan Sri D.R. Mehta Sahab.
Honorable the Vice Chancellor, Honorable Sri Kalawat, other distinguished participants, and the attentive listeners. I'm extremely grateful to you that you invited me to this webinar. But let me also say, with the kind of introduction that Professor Rawat gave for me and what Professor Patel, Vice Chancellor, mentioned, would make many of the viewers think differently about me so far as this topic is concerned. What has an ex-bureaucrat, a banker, a capital market man, do with a social project? It's almost a contradiction. But this
Yes,
happens
sir.
in life. This happens in life. In fact, the journey started in 1969. I was collector of a district, Jaisalmer, but from Pakistan. Met with an accident. Doctors felt I would die. I survived. The doctors felt they would have to amputate my leg. They saved that also. But I remained in hospital for 5 months. And those were the days I could not get up from my bed at all. They put me in a straight jacket. All that I could move was my torso. But that was also a period of serious reflection. For me, it was a second lease of life. Since I was saved, my leg was saved, what should I do in future? And that was the time I could study Mahavir, I could study Buddha, I could study Mahatma Gandhi, and there were examples of Douglas Bader. I'll dilate on it a bit. Mahavir said, everybody seeks pleasure and shuns pain. So what's your duty? Provide pleasure. And what can be a greater pleasure to a disabled man that he is given a limb? Buddha talked of Karuna, Mahakaruna. Avilokiteshwarnath is an imagery. He is one of the Buddhas, not Gautam Buddha, but one of the Buddhas. He had 100 eyes and 100 hands. The Buddha says there's so much of misery in this world. दुख है, दुख का कारण है, दुख का निवारण है, और eightfold path है. With 100 eyes, he could see the plight of so many people. 100 hands, he could provide the succor. Then Mahatma Gandhi, his famous bhajan which he would sing daily in his morning prayer. Vaishnav janto tene kahiye peer parai jaan. A virtuous man is one who senses the pain of others. Now, the other person who is my hero, Dr. Albert Schweitzer. He worked in Africa for 50 years, got the Nobel Prize. He talked of non-violence, and more importantly, he said, and one expression I never forget and I keep on repeating, let's join the fraternity of those who bear the mark of pain. उनकी जमात में शामिल हुई है जिनके दिल में दर्द है. There are examples also. Douglas Bader, he was a pilot in the Royal Air Force. Before the Second World War, he lost both his legs, got the artificial limbs and walking. And somehow he was given the opportunity of flying the planes again. In the Second World War, he downed the largest number of planes. If he could do it, even if I lost my limb, I could have got the limb and could have been mobile again. Though these were some of the readings and some of the instances which worked as a trigger for me. And this idea of setting up Bhagwan Mahavir Viklang Sahayata Samiti thus was born on a hospital bed in my state of trauma. That's, as I said, in the beginning of the journey. But I was a civil servant. What do? How to set up an organization, NGO? How can a civil servant set up an NGO? Besides, where are the funds? So luckily, I was Secretary to Chief Minister, and our Chief Minister, Mr. Hardev Joshi, was an amputee. He lost his hand, and therefore he was very empathic. And he permitted me to set up this organization. I also could get some funds. So in 1975, Bhagwan Mahavir Viklang Sahayata Samiti was set up. And the idea was that we must have some social workers, some technical people, some donors, and some other prominent people. Started in a very small way. In the first year, we just fitted 59 limbs. And by now, in the last 45 years, we have rehabilitated over 1.95 million people. That's the journey and extent of the journey, or the impact of the journey. Of this number, limbs alone could be counted as 0.65 or 6.5 lakh. Calipers, 0.45 million, that is 4,50,000. Then wheelchairs, hand pedals, bicycles, crutches, other aids and appliances. Now the journey has been so powerfully impacting. I think I'm one of the most blessed men on this earth. You see a bilateral amputee crawling in your center, full of misery, sorrow, sadness. Get the limb in 2 or 3 days. Walks out. He's all smiles. Now this transformation, this journey from sadness to smile, certainly has helped him. But more importantly, it has helped you. As somebody said, we are the biggest beneficiaries, much more than him. And this is a daily occurrence. Before Corona period, in Jaipur alone, I would get 100 patients a day minimum. And would you believe? How does it compare with other institutions? I don't want to say that they are not doing good work. They are doing excellent work. Maybe they have own limitations. But let me give you some figures. And don't think that I'm sort of boasting. Take the benchmark of Red Cross, International Committee of Red Cross. One of the oldest service organizations of the world. You could download its annual report for the year 2019. Red Cross is helping about 20 institutions in 14 countries of the world to fit limbs and calipers. In 2019, according to that report, the total number was 4,800 something. And last year we, for the same period, in 1 year, fitted 31,000 limbs in India and 5,000 limbs abroad. Bhagwan Mahavir Viklang Sahayata Samiti, our organization, NGO, is doing 7 times more work as compared to the cumulative work of Red Cross. But if you take up a single organization, I don't think anybody in the world, any organization in the world, fits even 2,000 limbs a year. So, luckily, Bhagwan Mahavir Viklang Sahayata Samiti is not only the largest institution of the world, but also, what should I say, 15, 20 times bigger than the second largest in the world. Now, again, I repeat, please don't misunderstand me. Don't think that I'm boasting. I'm just stating the facts. How did this happen? For any social organization which want to be successful and successful at this scale, a few basic requirements are there. First is technology. We are lucky, Jaipur Foot had already been developed in Jaipur, in SMS Medical College. Interestingly, master craftsmen first thought of this. First made Jaipur limb. Showed it to 3 doctors. Master was Sri Ramchand Sharma, popularly called Master Ji. Then Dr. P.K. Sethi, a well-known surgeon. Dr. S.C. Kasliwal, Dr. Mahesh Ulawat. So original, the inventor of the limb was Master Ji. The tragedy of this country is that such people are forgotten. Now, Dr. Sethi and all these doctors, how eminent they were, they refined the limb. But in fact, Dr. Udawat wrote a thesis, one of the members of this team. And he said the original idea of Jaipur Fort was the Master Ramchand Sharma. And because of him, various technical problems could be resolved. But you don't hear about him. Unfortunately, all the 4 died. We honored them by placing their photographs in our Hall of Fame. Secondly, even after Jaipur Foot had been developed, in the next 7 years, from 68 to 75, when I set up this organization, hardly 50 limbs could be fitted. And there was a danger of this limb being lost in limbo. There was a Madras foot developed by Dr. Natarajan in Madras during that time. He came to Jaipur, he met me, he met Dr. Sethi. Where is that foot now? A foot was developed in Sri Lanka, Mulan foot. Where is that foot now? Same fate awaited Jaipur foot, but luckily this society was set up. And as I said, its requirements are first technology. Technology had been developed. But subsequent developments, for example, earlier Jaipur Foot was using a shank or socket which was made of aluminium. Still earlier in the Western world and India, the socket or shank was made of wood, very heavy. Even if you were to provide limbs to people, they would not use them because of its heaviness. Masterji did the great thing. He made the socket of aluminium. But doctors were questioning that also. They said the fitment would not be exact. So we moved on to polymers. And interestingly, what we did was, we started using SDP pipe. In the West, they are using sheets. Now, if you use a pipe, SDP is very strong material. you don't have a joint. You retain all the strength of the pipe. So this enables us to make the limb so fast.
Yes, sir.
The quality improved enormously. We are making our own rubber, microcellular rubber, um, red rubber, other items. Quality got improved, design got changed substantially. And then for a bowel knee patient, there was a serious problem. Leg must move. World over, a friend of mine, a Pakistani American, he was the vice chairman or equivalent post he held of JP Morgan Bank, one of the largest banks of the world. He lost his limb. He's a friend. When I go to New York, we have lunch or dinner together. I asked him, I invited him to Jaipur. Twice he came. I said, Imran Saab, tell me, which limb is better, yours or our people's? He said, Diyar Saab, your limb is better. I said, how much did you pay? He said, $70,000. His insurance company or his company paid or bank paid. He said, what's your cost? I said, my cost of the above knee limb is $70. So 70 versus 70,000. And still the limb is better. Point I'm making is the technology, and we are constantly aware of this. And we have tie-up with Stanford University, which made this new joint under an MOU. Our doctors also and feedback also contribute enormously in making this Jaipur knee. Jaipur knee, which was used as compared to what Imran wore, is a joint for above knee patients, which is needed for movement. Would you believe Time magazine USA described Jaipur knee as one of the 50 best inventions of the world for the year 2009. And by now we have fitted about 22,000 limbs with Jaipur knee, above knee patients. And the cost is $20. Would you believe this? Time magazine says a titanium replacement of this in US. And to my mind, that is slightly inferior because of its weight and other things. Cost $10,000. We are 500 times cheaper. So technology is needed. And the technology we need for this sector particularly, where the patients are mostly below poverty line, must be very frugal. Absolutely frugal. Dr. Mashelkar, you heard of him? He was the chairman of the Indian Council, what is this, ICR, Indian Council of Research and Development. Great Indian scientist.
Yes, sir.
In all his talks, he invariably refers to Jaipur Fort as an example of Gandhian engineering. A beautiful expression. Maximum with minimum. With $20 knee you are providing, I mean, which would cost in America $10,000, 7 lakhs rupees. So, first element for this, for any organization, and in our case, this somehow worked, is technology. I forgot to tell you, MIT, another great institution, I went there. Some time back, I asked, how many Nobel laureates you have? Would you believe? They said in a single institution, 80. India has how many? All put together in 100 and odd years is 8. That institution, their professor came. We did not invite him, mind you. Professor of MIT came, signed an MOU with us. And he's now working on, or the team is working on, another kind of knee, another kind of foot. So technology is first part on which we are concentrated on. And normally social organizations, are suffused with sentiment. That's our core, in fact, why I am here. Well, sentiment. But what we have taken care of is that sentiment must be combined with science. And that is one reason why it could succeed. Constant in-house research, outside research, right now on the hand part, we are having a tie with Santa Clara University of US. And I'm expecting a prototype in September. But for Corona, it would have come earlier. The second part is value system. It's not just a company. It's a social organization. Social organization with certain basic values. What's the first value? We admire and which we adopt or have adopted is the dignity of the person. 90 or more than 90% of our people are below the poverty line. Who loses a limb? Just think of this. A person who is working in the front, manually, working in the mine, and working in the field, whatever. Rich people may lose limbs, but very few. Now, they were already poor. And after losing limbs, they lost their livelihood also. Virtually beggars. Now, these are the people. Should we shun them? Or should we recognize their dignity? They are our brothers and sisters. What did Mahatma Gandhi say? Peer parai jane re. The first value is this. The following from this is that we must provide everything totally free of charge. Supposing you ask them to pay. My present cost of making an average cost of a limb above knee, below knee is 4,500 rupees. Out of 100 patients that I get, I ask them to pay 4,500 rupees. I think by the evening, 4 or 5 people would remain. If people say, at least charge something. I said, how much? Well, just charge 10% at least. Something you must charge. We are very commercial in our thinking. I worked in the financial sector all my life, or half of my life at least. But their approach has to be different. The profit motive has to be there. You must recover your cost. But social sector, you can't commercialize social sector. You must maintain that distinction. Now, 10%, so 450 rupees. If I announce that, I think 70-80% people would just leave. So this is a very critical part, that we respect the dignity of the person. Treat them as our brothers and sisters. They might be poor, they might be in rags, but they are our brothers and sisters. Same blood flows in their veins. Nobody can misbehave with them. They might abuse us at times. You know, many of them are mental cases. You must have the capacity to bear that also. And if you don't do it, you are not fit enough to be the social organization, and social organization is not fit to be called a social organization. If they are mentally affected, if I lose my limb, say a finger, I might start working or behaving differently. It must be recognized that there could be sick people. So behave with them properly. When we talk to them, if I am sitting on a chair, he has to be on the chair. It's a very small point. Third is about money part. I mean, some people, you must charge something. I said, why? Well, unless you charge, he would not appreciate the importance of the thing that you are giving to him. I said, are we in the game of seeking appreciation here? We are here because it gives us joy, which is priceless and which is unlimited. And secondly, why relate appreciation only to money? If you give money, you would appreciate the important thing you get. You go out to a park in the morning, enjoy fresh air. Do you pay for it? The third point is management policies. Our entire management system is patient-centric. No appointment is needed. Just walk in, open door policy. Until the date, we have not asked a single person to go back if the doctor said limb could be fitted or caliper could be given. Not a single patient. And people come from all parts of the country. Secondly, a lady has come, having lost her limb. Husband has come. 2 children are at the village with the maybe grandparents. Now, the earning member of the family is with the wife. Can't you do it very fast? As I told you, technology is such, we can make a limb just in one day. The complicated maybe 2 days, 3 days. World over, the time taken is several weeks, if not months. This has been possible partly because of technology, partly because of management systems. We introduced a lot of industrial management systems in our working with as a social organization. Very quick delivery, fast, rapid limb making, without compromising quality. Then other thing is, most of our people are poor. And indeed, most of the handicapped in the world over are poor. Poor people are scared of the formal, legal, rigid systems. When you institutionalize anything, our systems become very rigid. That's the problem. Now, I'm an ex-bureaucrat. I've worked in bureaucracy for 41 years. And I'm telling you that one thing I would not, and I have not allowed to get in our system is bureaucracy. A patient comes, we have to maintain the record, no question about it. Donors are giving us money. We have to inform them what we did. Whole record, more than what others perhaps may be doing. But this is all our responsibility. He comes, immediately his photograph is taken on web camera. About 17-column statement is all filled by us. All that he has to do is, at the end, when he leaves, he has to give a receipt. He'll say that he got the limb and got it for free. That's all. Otherwise, you can't serve these people. So whatever you do must be related to your client or customer's needs. His need is a simplified procedure, and that's what we are following. Then you need funds. How do you get funds? Now people ask us, a professor of Kellogg University studied us. I said, Mr. Mehta, sorry, you are not sustainable. I said, I know this. No, supposing you don't get donation next year. This year you got the donation and you are giving it everything for free. Next year, would you close? I said, yes, that risk is there. But I am a believer. If a thing is done properly, then my belief is that God would not let it go down the drain. As simple as that. So jokingly, I told him, I said, Professor, you are a great management expert. You must have helped Fortune 500 companies with great management advice, the largest companies in the world. But please tell me, how many of them survived for 45 years? We have Mahavir Viklang has survived for 45 years. Who is more sustainable? Where is Enron? Third largest company of the world. Just disappeared. So funds would come. Believe me, and we are very arrogant. We are beggars, undoubtedly. Of course, we are in the social field. You have to beg, but we are arrogant beggars. Generally, we don't accept any big donation unless the person has come and personally seen it. We lost some donations. On the other hand, if the person has come and seen it, he gets connected with us emotionally. And then our relationship is lasting, is permanent. And we keep on getting funds. All sorts of people, believe me. I mean, I'll give you an example. And secondly, online donations. I get almost 2,000 online donations from India, abroad, from all sorts of places. All sorts of people. A British charity head came and he gave us £1 million. And the second biggest donation, I'll tell you, a leprosy patient came to get his limb fitted. Would you believe, gave me 2 rupees? That was all he had on him. Could there be a bigger donation than that? The point I'm making is that if you work, I'm repeating the statement I made earlier, that if the work is proper, is helping the poor, and you are helping the poor for free, donations would flow in. Maybe there's some shortfall in 1 year. Next year it will be completed. So we borrow money. So we are, in fact, Harvard Business School wrote a case study on us. World's topmost business school. 20-page case study. One of the most popular studies in Harvard. So we are not a commercial organization. And the professor asked me, how do you manage your requirement, number of patients so large, your requirements are so huge. How do you manage, Mr. Mehta? I said, I'm a beggar. And jokingly, I said, I must be among the biggest beggars of India. Would you believe that case study, Harvard case study, it's written under the head funding of that case study. Within quotes, I'm the biggest beggar of India, D.R. Mehta. When I went to Harvard, they invited me for a talk. My American friend said, D.R., you know, how do you be introduced when you enter the lecture hall? I said, how? They would announce from the podium that here comes the biggest beggar of India, applaud him. So the point is, and then other thing is, the donors also are very observant. We may not know it. We may not know it. They get the feedback from various places. They particularly are keen to know whether the promoters are taking any advantage of the society. If they are satisfied that they are not, then the flow of the funds is no problem. That has been our experience. I'll give you an example, very interesting example. The Chief Justice of the state, Rajasthan state, he visited a camp. And our people made him deliver a limb to an old man. He did not. The old man tried out of gratitude, tried to touch his feet. He did not let him do it. In fact, he lifted his hands and put his hands on his head. Chief Justice of the state, and a poor man. He said, Baba, you bless me. Anyway, so when I heard of this story, I was not there that day in that camp. I called on him, invited him to visit us. He visited us. Next day, in the High Court, one of the judges was telling me, whom I know, and during lunchtime or after lunchtime they have some tea or etc. jointly. At least some of the judges. He said, I went to Mahavir Viklang and they did not even offer me a glass of water. One of the judges said, then why did you go there? He said, I went there only because of this reason. We get money, we hold that money in trust. If we misuse even a single rupee, it's not only sin, it's legally wrong, legal aberration. Prime Minister of India visited one of our camps, not in India, abroad, in Philippines. We did not garland him. It costs money. If I get a donation of 4,500 rupees for a limb, that is exclusively meant to provide a limb. How do I use to offer tea to someone, maybe costing 5 rupees, or a bouquet or a garland costing 100 or 200 rupees? And the donors know it. And that's the important part. And that's how they support us. At times, we don't ask and we get the money. The next one is leadership. And the next one is passion. Compassion is part of ethics, value system, and passion also. Now, these are the 6 factors which I think are basic to any institution which want to be substantial one. And we have tried to adopt them, implement them. Another thing happened. Government of India asked us to hold camps outside. Earlier we had several camps. Would you believe I went to Afghanistan 5 times? Serious danger. But we know that nobody would kill us. Accidental death can take place even in Jaipur. I go out and I might be hit by a car. Last year I was in Syria on the day on which the Americans killed the Irani general in Iraq, and the day when Irani government fired missiles on the American establishment in Baghdad. There could have been a war. Went to Iraq. We fitted 603 limbs. We came back, and after 3 or 4 months, it was right in the same place, and 300 people died. Pakistan, in 2007, we were invited to hold 2 camps, Karachi and Islamabad. I personally went. Believe me, the kind of reception we got, the affection we got, it's unbelievable. It's unparalleled. They said, set up permanent centers. I said, I can't do it under your law and my law. We trained their people, 2 permanent centers are there, providing their food. The most respected product in Pakistan, Indian product in Pakistan, is Jaipur food. Again, they invited me in 2018. This was done 2007. Center was established in 2008. And after 10 years to celebrate that. Again, same kind of affection. These are the ways in which you build bridges. It's not a work for India only. It's a humanitarian work. It's work for Vaishnav Jan. Anywhere. Maybe Hindus, Muslims, Christians, Sikhs. In Pakistan, they ask, how many Muslims have you had? I said, such questions are not asked, certainly not publicly. No, tell us. I said, then I'll also ask you questions. But for you first reply. I said, out of about 1.95 million, maybe 0.4 million, that is 4 lakh people must be Muslims. literally overwhelmed. I said, may I put my question? Yes. Are you a Muslim? Got angry. Any doubt about it? I said, please tell me, being a Muslim, how many Muslims have you helped? Point is, this is a society which is beyond caste, beyond creed, beyond boundaries. In the foreign countries, by now we have held 84 camps in 35 countries in the world. Lately, Government of India is funding all these. In the last 2 years, we've held 14 camps in 13 countries in the world and generated so much of goodwill for India. It's soft power of India. Now, at the end, I would say that this work is so fulfilling, so satisfying. As I said, that makes me and my colleagues the most blessed beings on this earth. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. And a wonderful journey of the Jaipur food to us and the enlightened participants. And sir, we have the one or two questions, so we can put
Yes,
up
any
with your
number,
permission, sir.
any number of questions, even the
Yes, sir.
difficult ones.
Yes, sir. So the question is for the students. They are asking, and some youth. They have the question.
Any number.
Yes, sir. In 1975, when you have this idea in your mind, then what kind of the communication in your conscious, unconscious mind, and what kind of the intrapersonal communication happened at that time when you started this Bhagwan Mahavir Viklang Sahayata Samiti at that time, sir? किस प्रकार का वो द्वंद था आपके अंदर उस समय कि आपने ये निर्णय लिया चालू करने का, और किस तरीके के जो चैलेंजेस थे उस समय चालू करने के समय आए आपके मन में?
देखिए, मैंने आपको जैसे बताया, मुझे ऐसा लगा कि मैं तो 69 में चला ही जाता दुनिया से. मेरी तो सेकंड लीज ऑफ लाइफ.
यस सर, यस सर.
तो अब ये तो दिमाग में आता कुछ करना चाहिए. अब पैर की बात थी तो पैर से रिलेटेड काम सोचा. और जैसे मैंने आपसे कहा कि महावीर, बुद्ध, महात्मा गांधी, अल्बर्ट श्वाइट्जर, ये सब इनकी जो पुस्तकें पढ़ी, और ये हुआ कि जैसे किसी ने कहा कि यू मस्ट एक्सपेंड योर कॉन्शियसनेस. आपने पूछा ना?
यस सर.
अभी our consciousness is limited. We think of ourselves. At the most, we think of the extended family. Maybe still more, we might think of the community. But what about humanity? If you have that the kind of consciousness you should be aiming at. How much you reach in that objective is a different question. And then this was discussed with several people. My mother was there, my wife was there, my guru was there. They all encouraged me. Discussed with some social workers. They were all helpful. So this is what happened.
And sir, what kind of the challenges faced during the technology to build up this Jaipur food, sir?
You know, any task has challenges. But those could be, if your intent is clear, those could be gotten over. No problem with them. Funding was one problem that got solved. Small. And that's why I believe in evolutionary policy, evolutionary growth. Not, say, big bang approach. You start in a small way, on your basis of your experience, you improve things, more people know about you, you get more support. And that's how it goes on. So ultimately, you reach the goal faster and you reach a bigger goal. On technological side, we are always open. Even today, I can't say that our technology is perfect. So we have this idea that we must constantly update our technology, have new innovations, have these new innovations in-house, have new innovations outsourced.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. So finally, sir, in the last 55 minutes, you told so many things about the Bhagwan Mahavir Viklang Sahayata Samiti. You told that the Bhagwan Mahavir Viklang Sahayata Samiti is set up in the 1975 as a registered NGO under the Indian law. BMVS is the world's is the largest organization for the elevation of the disabled. And she told that the BSS is a non-political, non-religious, and the non-sectarian organization. The objective of the BMS is to provide the mobility and the dignity to the handicapped. And the BMS is the provided the artificial limbs, the clippers, and the wheelchairs, hand pedals, and the tricycles, the crutches, and the other aids of the appliances to over the 90,000 persons with disability in a year. This number is includes about the 30,000 artificial limbs provided by the BMBS as the competitive to this International Committee of the Red Cross ICRC under this special fund of the disabled World SFDs. The provide the 4,839
Should I tell you?
artificial.
Just a minute. Just a minute.
Yes,
The
sir.
entire city of Delhi, you exclude our branch.
Yes, sir.
And add up the figures
Yes, sir.
of all the institutions, government and public. They
Yes,
do
sir.
not fit even 2,000 limbs a year. Not even 2,000. Same is true of Mumbai. Now this is true of the world. I mean, no organization in the world fits even 2,000 limbs a year. Singly. I give you the example of Red Cross, but Red Cross is operating through about 20 NGOs. So this has been possible because of these special reasons I gave you.
Yes, sir. So, and you also told the BMBSS has the already rehabilitated the more than 1.91 million persons with disability, and BMBS provide all the services totally free of cost to the persons with the disabilities. The BMBSS has been given the special consultative status with the Economic and the Social Councils of the United Nations Organization, New York. While the consultations of the BMBSS is on the disabled in India in the last several years, it has had the 80 on the sport artificial limb filament camp in the 34 countries in Asia, Africa, and Latin America.
Now 35 countries.
35 countries, and Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Colombia, Egypt, Ethiopia, Fiji, under Iraq, Syria, Kenya, Lebanon, and various other countries, sir. On the technology side, the artificial limbs the BMS provide are the known as the Jaipur foot, which is the famous over the world, and the Jaipur foot is the closest to the human foot and the artificial limb in the terms of the flexion functions and the cosmetics.
Just a minute, I'm sorry. I forgot to tell you.
Yes, sir.
The person who gets the artificial limb below knee.
Yes, sir.
He can sit, he can walk on the undulated ground, he can run, he can swim.
Yes, sir.
Now, the Western design, they use a sledge foot generally, up to $10,000. That does not have the movement at the ankle. How does a person kneel? In India, large number of toilets are there, but they all have Indian seats. If a person lost a limb and there's no movement at the ankle, going to the toilet is a daily torture. For the above knee, as I told you, with the new joint, a person can walk beautifully, not as good as, of course, below knee. Even a bilateral amputee, below knee bilateral amputee walks like you and me. I suggest you kindly visit our website, www.jaipurfoot.org. I'm sorry I could not give a PowerPoint presentation here. Otherwise, I've
Yes,
shown you. Sorry.
yes, sir. And sir, you told that International Time magazine wrote the several pages of the Jaipur food a few years, and the Jaipur food that has the revolutions, the life of the millions of the landmine, the temperatures. The BMVS is the getting the support from the world famous scientist institution, the Stanford the University USA, for the upgrading for the technology. It has a formal MOU with the Stanford University. Under this, they have the developed a special for bar the link is knee joint for the above knee amputees. The world's famous the Time magazine issues on 23rd November 2009 the held that the Stanford Japanese as one of the 50 best innovations in the world of the year 2009. This is the being the recognized as one of the best mechanical knees the joint in the world. MIT US is the another famous the technology universities too is helping the BMBSS on the three projects for the development of the new devices of for the persons with the disabilities. BMBSS that does create a special alternatives the affordable health care medal for the poor. This has the attract the attention for the many technical and the academic institutions for the world. In the Harvard Business School USA has the written a case study on the BMBSS and the Jaipur food. The other business school which have also written case studies on the BMBSS and Jaipur food are the IIM Ahmedabad, IIM Bangalore, London Business School, etc. Several magazines in India and abroad have the written extensively on the BMBSS and Jaipur food. So United Nations Organization UNO and the permanent submissions of the India and the UN organization the special conference on the 15th May 2018 at the headquarters in the New York. So the commemorate the 50 year of the Jaipur food and the 4-day exhibition of the Jaipur food. To commemorate the 150th anniversary of the Mahatma Gandhi, External Affairs of the Minister of India launched the India's the community under which the MEA signed of the MOU with the BMBSS under which the
This is kindly see this. This is important.
Yes.
More important than my talk.
Yes, sir.
Kindly
Yes.
show
For
this.
everyone, I had
Yes.
actually shared this slide for the sirs, so we can project
Yes,
that
sir.
to everyone that they can visit this site. And these are the pictures of the people who got this Jaipur food and how they can run. They can even though cycling also. So that's what sir's saying. So I had thought to present. So this is kind of a knee, and above the knee, this is the Stanford suggested knee model is also there. So we request all viewers to go through that and get more details on this. It's available on a public platform. Everybody can go through and look at the all photographs. So that's all. As a sir's wish, I had shared this.
Last point I'll make.
Ji sir.
Kindly visit us. Don't trust my word. Come and see.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I believe
Definitely.
me, I get, except for this period of Corona, till last year we were getting about 1,000 people from abroad. At least 500 students from universities like Harvard, MIT, all sorts of places. And some prominent people also would come and see. So please come and see.
Definitely, sir.
Definitely, sir. We'll come. We'll come with the students.
Send your students. They are all welcome. And you know, you don't even have to ask us. Ask us fine. Anybody can just walk in our workshop.
We'll
Yes, sir.
definitely arrange
Yes, sir.
engineering students a field visit that they can learn practically also by viewing your workshop. Thank you for providing this opportunity that too we can visit there. Thank you, Rawat Sirji, also for providing such a wonderful place to hear us. And all engineers are inspired today by his journey and how the Jaipur food and how big giants universities also taking interest in this social cause. So also we are very thankful that too you have explored and explain us the entire model also how it has been emerged. Please.
Thank you, Professor. थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू प्रोफेसर हर्षिल शाह सर. एंड फाइनली सर, जैसा आपने शुरू में बताया, दुख है, दुख का कारण दुख का निवारण है, और महात्मा गांधी के जो आपने वर्ड्स कहे, वैष्णव जन तो है कहिए, पीर पनाई जानिए रे, उन्हीं वर्ड्स के साथ में एक नया इनोवेशन निकल के आया. सो वी थैंकफुल टू यू सर, एंड वी थैंक यू वेरी मच टू शुड एनलाइट टू अस ऑन a journey of the Jaipur food. And definitely sir inspire, and definitely we come over there and with our students, and we learn more and more. So on behalf of the Parul University, on behalf of the Parul University management, on behalf of the Parul University president sir, vice chancellor sir, and registrar sir, we thank you sir, thank you very much sir, to enlighten to us and tell to us about the journey of the Jaipur food. Thank you very much sir, thank you very much sir.
Thank you,
And
Rahul.
and also thank you our technical teams conduct the wonderful webinar for us, and without any kind of the technical glitches. Thank you to our entire team members. So day and night they promote this wonderful event among the students and the other professionals. So thank you to all. Thank you very much. Thank you sir. Again, thank you very much sir. Padam Bhushan Dr. Mehta sir. Thank you very much sir. Thank you very much. Thank you sir.
हो गया ना, कंप्लीट हो गया.
हो गया.
Yes sir. अच्छा सर, हर्षिल सर कैसा रहा सर?
बहुत बढ़िया सर, आज का सुपर्ब है, और ऑलमोस्ट मुझे आई नो दैट इट विल बी वंडरफुल, एंड सो दिस सेशन वुड बी still live right now, so let us first stop this session and we will talk on phone. Thank you sir.
Okay sir.
I'm just
Thank you sir. Bye.
मैं अभी कॉल करता हूँ.
Thank you sir.